It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
All right, so we are live. I hope, barring any difficulties. Hello, welcome to the radio program, the podcast program. I am Rob Carson. I am learning just an ungodly amount about podcasting and whatnot in the last few days since I left KCMO Talk Radio on November the 21st. It's been just an unbelievable time. Learned a lot. You guys have been absolutely terrific with regard to just positive thoughts and all of that, and it's been remarkable. Terrestrial radio, I've been telling people, I was in terrestrial radio for a very long time. Terrestrial radio is AM and FM frequencies. They're over-the-air broadcasts. And they've, provided me a living. And I may go there eventually. But I'm learning so much about just this. Just talking to you guys. Creating a radio program that you can listen to anytime. You can also check out the video podcast as well. It's pretty wild. When you are challenged in your life, maybe that's losing a job or whatever, there are a couple ways you can go. You can give up hope. You can throw your hands up. You can cry. You can lose it. And I have been there. But there's something that's buoying me. I don't know what it is, man. It's you guys. Anyway, glad to have you here. We're going to get into some of the events of the day, and this isn't a very political show today. I'm going to talk about a lot of other stuff that I think you'll find interesting. And please, if you would like to comment on Facebook, I am at Rob Carson Show on Facebook, and I'd love to know what you think, what's going on in your minds. Here, I'm going to write you a note here. Write me. Ah! There you go. It's kind of fun. Write me. Here we go. So write me if you have any thoughts on what I'm talking about tonight. This is kind of interesting. I am just so happy that I'm married. I know that marriage is on, it's maybe not very sexy to you singles, but wouldn't you rather be married than have this? To be a part of TrumpSingles.com. There's a new website where you can find like-minded Trump supporters. I voted for Donald Trump, But the last thing I want as the anchor for my relationship with another person is my political beliefs. Even honestly, really? Do I really want to have my political beliefs be the anchor for my relationship with you? I mean, no. But TrumpSingles.com is apparently a deal. I don't know. I'm thinking down the road, you're gonna be in a world of hurt if you just based your original expectations of the other person on being a Trump supporter. Whatever. It's kind of a fun story. There is a new anti-smartphone out. It's kind of interesting. Light phone is what they call it. It's designed to rejuvenate those aha moments. What it is basically you get rid of your smartphone, and the aha phone allows you to just make phone calls if you need to on a date. So it's meant to be used as a second phone. You basically buy this thing, it's $150. And you can leave your smartphone at home while you're out for dinner, and all you can do is make a phone call there. Entrepreneurship is awesome. But honestly, how about just leave the damn phone at home? Just leave the phone at home, guys. Leave the phone at home. All right, some other stuff happening around the country. I'm going to stay away from politics tonight because, honestly, I'm kind of done with it. We've got a lot of protests going on in Washington, D.C., and I've just kind of had enough. The inauguration is happening on Friday, and it's going to get ugly. There's some weird things that are going to be happening. There are going to be some fights. There are going to be some people who are there to agitate professionally. And I think that's pretty sad. I think it's pretty sad. There are professional agitators being brought in to just basically raise some hell, and I think that's really kind of pathetic. I think it's kind of pathetic when you look at. I wasn't a fan of Barack Obama being elected. Was not a fan, but I went along with it, and I said I would do what I could to hopefully take off the rails the administration's very leftist agenda. And that's, and I called my congressman, and I called, my senator, and I got in touch with a lot of people, and ultimately the administration's agenda was able to be slowed down. And that's what I wanted. And I did it because you basically need to, as a citizen, get in touch with your representative. And if you're not happy with the way things are going, that's what you do. That's what you do. That's how it works. So, unfortunately, you have a lot of agitators who are in D.C. who are being hired professionally and whatnot to come out and raise some hell. And I'll be interested to see what happens Friday. Friday's going to be weird. Friday's going to be weird. We'll get into that a little bit more here in a few minutes. There's a new reality show called Undressed out of Australia. These are shows that are made for people in their 20s who don't realize how embarrassed they're going to be later in life by these stupid shows. Basically, the social experiment begins with two strangers together, put in a room furnished with a bed and a TV. Then it orders them to get undressed together. They have several activities. You can give a massage or have a pillow fight. Yeah, these are adults, right? Now, I remember a couple months ago, they had a show. It was about couples getting into a box and having sex and then coming out of the box. I'm not kidding. It was a big black box. You get in there, you had sex, and you got out of the box, and then they interviewed you. Stupid. Really, really stupid. All right? And unfortunately, fortunately, the thing was completely canceled after the first episode. It was a joke. It's a joke. And like I said, these shows are meant to be provocative to the point that they actually kind of forsake common sense to some degree. I predict it won't be around very long. Now, there's a story that had been kind of bugging me, guys, and I'm an adopted person. And I have a friend of mine, oddly enough, has been a friend of mine since we were kids. And he has just discovered his biological parents. His parents have passed away. And they were wonderful, wonderful people. And I think that maybe he might have waited to find his biological parents until after his parents passed. And I understand that. I understand that. But anyway, what would you do if you were raised by a mother and a father who you loved very much, and they were spectacular parents, and at 18 years old, you go and fill out a job application and they ask for your birth certificate and you don't have it. And then you find out that mom stole you when she was 18 years old. Mom stole you. Mom went into the hospital, maybe had a miscarriage, and decided to steal you. How would you feel as an adult going through that? Well, that's a case of this just unbelievable story. Alexis Manigo, 18 years old. She was abducted from a Jacksonville, Florida hospital hours after she was born. She was raised by a mother named Gloria Williams, raised her for 18 years, and she wakes up at 18 years old and finds out that her birth parents, Craig Aiken and Shannara Mobley, have been mourning her loss for 18 years. Now you're thinking, okay, maybe mom loved you, maybe mom raised you very well, and you might be possibly sympathetic to the mom who raised you so well, but unfortunately, the anguish that you put that other family through is inexcusable. Here's a little bit from the story out of, Camellia Mobley. Here it is.
My name, though. It's a name I had for years.
This is the father, by the way, who raised her his entire life and didn't realize that his wife had stolen this baby.
Alexis Kelly. And it's just the love of my life.
Charles Manigault says his then-girlfriend, Gloria Williams, told him she gave birth to their daughter while he was away. Manigault and Williams raised her from the time she was a newborn, sharing custody after they split up in 2003, celebrating milestones like prom.
The person she called dad for 18 and a half years is not a dad.
DNA testing uncovering the truth. Alexis was, in fact, baby Kamaya, snatched from a Florida hospital in 1998. Manigault and Alexis now dealing with the shocking news.
One of the hardest things she said since this was going on was Friday. She's like, Dad, I love you, even though she knows what's going on.
Tonight, 51-year-old Williams is behind bars, facing charges for the kidnapping. Police say she posed as a nurse and snuck the newborn out of the hospital, starting a frantic...
It's not snucked. Snucked is not a word. It's sneaked.
...search.
I just want to know where my baby is at. I just want my baby back.
Manigault, unknowing all these years, showing us childhood photos of Alexis, a child he says everyone loved.
Talk to her every day. It's the attention that's overwhelming to her. You know, she's still processing everything. You know, it's a shock to me. It's a bigger shock to her.
He says even though he's not her biological father, he will always be there for her.
She's still my child. I love her just that much. That's not going to change. She's the love of my life. She's my...
Now, the mom, he is separated from. I couldn't forgive somebody like that. As much as you're thinking maybe, oh, well, she was a great mom. She took her daughter to soccer practice and she did all this. Mom stole that kid. And another mom suffered, agonized over the loss of that child for 18 years, and that is unforgivable. It is unforgivable. And the thing that I take from this is that the mother who stole the baby was able to emotionally cancel out the anguish that the other parents were feeling. Inexcusable. And this daughter who says, don't blame my mom, the mother who stole her, is going to have to realize that her mom's going to spend the rest of her life in prison. Now, here's a lawyer named Randy Reed associated with the story. This is from WJXT TV.
A child that wasn't injured or had violence visited on her, those type of things, I think it'll be challenging to frame a sentence that would be appropriate, although I would tell you there's going to be many, many years in prison, if not life.
Should be.
Local attorney Randy Reep, who's not affiliated with the case, says this isn't a typical kidnapping scenario. Reep says the sentencing phase of this trial will be one to watch.
This case, at least on the facts, based on DNA, doesn't look to be a fact question. It looks to be a sentencing question. So it could take a long time as people try to, she'll have a talented attorney, I would imagine, who's going to try to frame the world in her way that reduces the amount of incarceration she'll face.
Still, Reep says the outcome could likely be open and shut.
You can't steal a child. That's just it. You may be the most wonderful person in the world, but you've got a hole in your soul if you're able to keep a kid and look past the agonizing mother and father that you stole the child from. It's just it's sick. A lot of us are willing to kind of bend a little bit, kind of, well, maybe she wasn't able to have a kid of her own and all that crap. No. Inexcusable. Some other stories in the news. I thought this was kind of interesting. I thought you might like it. Guidelines at 2 U.S. divinity schools have recommended professors use inclusive gender-neutral language, including for God. So these are divinity schools that have, they're Duke and Vanderbilt, are a couple of them. And what they've decided to do is stop calling God the Father. They've decided to stop calling God he or she. Now, I realize that we're going through a lot of rigmarole and a lot of bull crap with regard to universities and inclusive language and all of this stuff. But I'm not terribly offended by this, to be quite honest. I'm not terribly offended by this because I do talk to God every night and I call him my Father. Not sure why I do that because my father was kind of a douche. But at these universities, they're getting rid of masculine titles, pronouns, and imagery for God. They have served as a cornerstone for patriarchy, right? So they want to explore inclusive language when it comes to God. I'm not terribly bummed out about this. The Duke University guidelines suggest that professors forego gendered metaphors for God instead of saying like God is a parent, God is the Father, God is a parent to us all. Another option, mixing gender in metaphors. Professor could say, for instance, God is is the father who welcomes his son, but she is also the woman searching for a lost coin. I don't know what the hell that means. Anyway, I don't think of God in gender, to be quite honest. I don't think of God in gender. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I believe that there is an intelligent design to the universe. Does that person have a penis or a vagina? No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of an insult to, girls like my daughter to immediately assume the creator of the universe has got a penis. I don't think gender has anything to do with the reason why we're here. I am a very big astronomy and chemistry and science geek. And I've always looked for answers, and I wanted to pair up science with theology, and I know it's impossible at times, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive. And so I've been able to balance science and the amazing mystery and wonders of the universe with my faith. Because if you are an atheist and you think you got all the answers, you are full of shit. All right? If you are an atheist and you think because you exist on this little tiny just speck of dust in the universe that spins around, and you think that you have all the answers, you are high. You are high. Did you hear that, Bill Maher? The universe is a strange and wonderful place, and it is magical and mathematical and musical. And if you think that you have all the answers as a little speck of a human being on this planet, you're high. You're high. I always find that, and please bring it, atheists, bring it, bring it, bring it. If you think that you have all the answers, I'm going to tell you that atheism is an easy way out with regard to belief. Atheism is easy because all you got to say is God, it doesn't exist. That's all you got to do. Me as a person of faith, I have to prove it to me. And I'm also a person of science. And all of the striations that I've gone through with regard to my faith and my scientific thought lead me to God. God. I believe it. I believe it. This universe doesn't exist it's not an accident. It's not an accident. There are too many magical things happening. There are too many like I said, musical, mathematical things that happen. And it can't be by accident. I don't believe it's by accident. So Atheists continue to be atheists. That's fine. I love you. God bless you. You hate that, don't you? Brett says, Rob, the rhetoric used at college, or rhetoric used at colleges nowadays is just sad. Nobody stands for morals anymore. Always have to worry about keeping someone happy and not offending them. Yeah, I know. It's bullshit. And I think we're starting to turn the corner, to be honest, Brett. My son's going to college next year, and I just quite simply am not gonna put up with this shit. Just not gonna put up with it anymore. Not gonna do it. Let's move on to some collegiate just insanity. And I think we've really reached an end with regard to banning words, because I'm just done with it. I'm done with it. We saw nationally an orange-faced guy with a bad comb-over get elected because people are tired of being told what to say, when to say it, what's offensive, what will make you lose your job, that men can dress like women and go to the bathroom with your daughter, all that bullshit. And I'm going to tell you, they're tired of it. University of Wisconsin River Falls, where the hell that is, launched a new campaign to warn students who use potentially offensive language to check themselves. Some of the words that you can't use are colloquialisms like "you guys." Okay, you can't say "you guys" anymore. Bullshit. Do you know any adult woman who doesn't mind being called "you guys"? This, according to the campaign. Sometimes we say things without realizing the impact they have on others. All right, take time to educate yourself about language and the histories of oppression. Nobody gives a shit. All right, nobody gives a damn about that. Nobody cares. It's not that important. It's a bunch of white people who are guilty about whatever, and they've decided they're going to police the language. It's stupid, right? One of the things in the guide at the University of Wisconsin River Falls says that the guide tells readers to never ask a transgender person's identity. How the hell are you going to know? It warns against using terms like bitch in any language. My wife admits occasionally that she's bitchy. I'm bitchy too. Who cares? Words referring to female genitalia are verboten. Using words that refer to people with vaginas to express that someone is weak or emotionally dehumanizes women and perpetuates misogyny and sexism. There is no prohibition on calling men a dick. Do you ever notice that? I don't want to be too crass here, but women are never called assholes. All right? So it's okay to call someone an a-hole, but women are not called assholes. It's just funny. And women are not called dicks, but men can be called dicks, but women can't be called bitches. It's just stupid. Use of the word fat ass said to reinforce harmful assumptions that fat people are gluttonous, not glutinous, yeah. That are fat because they have no constraints around food, whatever. Adds that the term also implies that there's no acceptable amount of food to eat, and anything more is disgusting. All right? Some other words you shouldn't use at this university: worthless, bad, crazy, incapable, unintelligent. All of those things are not acceptable. I had a few years ago, I was hanging out with some parents. My son was like 4 years old, and I was new to this parenting thing and this political correct crap that's going around. And I'll never forget, I was talking to a woman, and I said something about a stupid person, and she goes, "We don't use the word stupid." And I said to her, "Then what do you call stupid people?" All right, there are stupid people. Stupid, there's a reason for the word stupid. Stupid is not necessarily low IQ. It's people who are woefully ignorant, people who do not wish to educate themselves. All right, so all of those things. That's what stupid is. All right, but I had that thrown at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Microaggressions on campus. There are these little microaggressions. You know what? If you're harmed by a thing called a microaggression, you've got a really effing serious problem. All right. You are a puss supreme if you are offended by a microaggression. I get microaggressions all the time. Who gives a crap? According to the Daily Emerald, the student-run publication at the University of Oregon, they're saying that one of the things you can't do is refer to somebody if you think they've had a fake and bake, a fake tan. So they have this new series called Identifying Discrimination on the Campus. There's a student named Seely Sankey, an international student from Kenya, who came to the university with a dark tan. And apparently her skin tone lightens and she turns a little bit orange. And one student walked up to her and asked which tanning salon she went to because she's orange. Apparently this is some sort of a microaggression, and this is an affront to political correctness at this university. If you see somebody who's orange, you can't suggest that they fake tan. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Just talk a little bit about racism. I don't want to get too much into it, but racism exists in the country. There's no doubt. But the racism doesn't exist where you think it does. We've heard from a lot of activists that black people can't be racist against white people because we're the privileged and whatever. But that's bullshit. It's a load of crap. Loretta Lynch delivered a speech. She's the leaving AG under the Obama administration. She spoke in Birmingham, Alabama. She said that there are waves of hatred, waves of intolerance and injustice are still blowing through the country. And that's true. I agree. If you think that there is never going to be racism or intolerance in the country, you're high. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to like university campuses, banning racism and intolerance is dangerous. And I know it's going to freak you out a little bit. I am a tolerant person. I don't give a rat's behind about the color of your skin, all of that. But the day that you say that a certain thought process, even if it's despicable, is not acceptable, is a dangerous, dangerous world. It's a dangerous world. There's a new viral video that's going out. Features a young couple, a white woman and a black man, and they're at a black restaurant. Not exactly sure this is, but I saw the video the other day, and I'm not sure if it's fake or not, but if it's fake, then shame on you, but it looks real. A person of color approaches this interracial couple regarding the fact that they are there. And I think that this feeling exists out there, okay? And I think it's more so, well, I'd say it exists on both sides. Black versus white versus black. Black families going, you shouldn't be dating a white person. White people saying you shouldn't be dating a black person. But to say that just one doesn't matter is bullcrap. Here's a little bit of the audio that this douche recorded when he saw a biracial couple in a black restaurant.
In a black-owned restaurant. Look at the... Wow. Y'all excuse me? Y'all together, like in an intimate relationship? Really?
What's up?
You couldn't find no black woman? Like, you had to go that low to the lowest rung of humanity? If they're even humans, it's arguably that they're even humans.
So she's saying that this person is saying that white people aren't even humans.
Like, are you that weak? Are you that weak? Because I don't normally interview y'all because y'all get me so upset being so weak. But just the fact that y'all had the audacity to sit in a black-owned restaurant and share.
There's a lot of this going on, guys. There's a lot of this going on.
I had to ask, like, well, what's wrong with you? Like, you couldn't find no black woman? What was it? What was it that made you that weak that you would get on your knees and bow to just less of a female.
There's a lot of this going on, guys, because there's this whole white privilege movement that's going on campus, and it's some sort of a karmic payback to the sins of the past of the country. We have sinned. This country has sinned. We've had racial sins. We started banning slavery before the year 1800 in certain colonies in the country. And slavery was the way of the world in 1776. But somehow there are those who are willing to turn back the clock to 1968 or even 1858 in this country. And I think it's shameful. And I don't know why this exists. Because I was raised without thinking about color. I didn't care. I dated black girls. I don't care. Who cares? You know, I was the first generation to watch Sesame Street when I was a kid. Didn't think about it twice. My son went to a school where he was like the 10% white kids in the school. Didn't care about it. And this is dangerous. This is dangerous. And it's built on a culture of blame and envy. And it's labeling a group, even though the whites in this country were the dominant group in the country, blah, 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 blah. It's dangerous, and it's pinning the sins of the past on the generation right now that had nothing to do with it. And it's frightening. The whole white privilege thing is very frightening. And I worry when I send my kid off to college that he's going to be confronted by this, even though he had nothing to do with it. A little bit more of this video at this restaurant, by the way.
That's lesser than a black woman in every way. Your mother was black, right? Your mother was black, correct? In a black-owned restaurant. Look at the...
Okay, so anyway, there is racism in the country, guys, and it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. There'll be white on black, black on white. There'll be black on Asian. There'll be black on whatever. There'll be white on... It's going to happen. There is no country in the world that is not racism-free because of the color of your skin. I always say the thing about the United States is that we exist. We tried to create a more perfect union, and we are not there yet. We are not there yet. Sam is writing. Sam says, I felt before Obama this sort of stuff was becoming blurred. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. We are more divided than we have been. There's a blame culture that exists, and there are failings in different segments of society, and they're willing to blame others. Let's see. Steve says, how about this? If it's in the dictionary, we can say it. People are crazy and stupid. Okay. Brett says the rhetoric used at colleges nowadays is just sad. Nobody stands for morals anymore. I got you. Rob, Brian, Sam, thank you guys for commenting tonight. We're starting out small on this podcast, and this is the first day that I've done it on Rob Carson Show. I apologize for the shuffling of the different websites, and now I'm focusing on Rob Carson Show and Rob Carson's Table. Darla J says she likes my video. Hi, Darla J. Darla J is a terrific person. I've spoken to her on the phone. I've never met her. She was in radio, and then she moved to another job, and she was just released. And Darla's going to be on the show next week, hanging out with me in the studio. I'm very excited about it. Dave says, hello, Dave. How you doing, man? Dave Haag, H-A-A-G. Thanks for accepting my invitation to like the show. I hope you enjoy it, and the show's going to grow. It's going to grow. 2 sites you need to know about. Facebook, Rob Carson Show. That's politics, pop culture, whatnot. Rob Carson's Kitchen is about food. Okay, that's what we're doing. In the meantime, learned a lot in the last few days. You guys have taught me a lot in the last few days. If you would do me a favor, when this video is posted, will you share it with other people? I'd greatly appreciate it, because I want to get as many subscribers as possible. If you can sign up on Patreon, Patreon.com, for $1 a month, that would help. And hopefully we'll get some advertisers and whatnot. In the meantime, God bless you. Have a great evening, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram. I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.
Actually, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Instagram is at Rob Carson Show. Have a glorious evening. See you.